deer were moving from Lac La Rand to the county property. I don't know how regularly, but they seemed to be moving back and forth. And so there were many times when we were in Lac La Rand, and there really weren't very many deer in there at all. So as we moved along, we moved into Ridge Run, and when we got into Ridge Run, things started really going well, and we were moving. First day on Ridge Run, we moved 11 deer, and then 6. And while we were in Ridge Run, we also had somebody in the county property, so we were kind of doubling up on locations. And then at the end, the last 2 visits in March, we were actually at all 3 parks. We kind of rotated through them. We did a couple of pushes to move the deer where we wanted them as well, so that all seemed to work pretty well. Total of deer removed was 56. Of those 56, we collected 50 samples for chronic wasting disease. So we basically cut the deer head off. We send the whole deer head to the DNR, and they sample it for chronic wasting disease. Of the 50 that we sent, we have 21 have been sampled, and all 21 were free of CWD, so the results were negative, which is good. So we have another 29 that still have to be tested. So as soon as we get those results, I'll share those with Jay, but we didn't see anything abnormal with any of the deer that were removed. Everything looked healthy, and we don't anticipate any of them be coming back positive for CWD. So, but I don't want to say any. You just never know. Sometimes it could be in the early stages where you can't be detected. So, but we did sample, and we didn't do all 56 because the DNR said you guys have done plenty. 50 is fine. So we didn't pursue anymore. We had a couple. Let me back up a little bit. Of the 56 removed, 73% of them were 41 of the 56 were female. So that's a really, really good thing to get that high a percentage of females when you shoot that many deer. You would expect a 50-50 ratio, because that's typically what you see in is a mix of 50 males, 50 females. But we got quite a bit higher than that, which was good. So we only removed 4 adult bucks. None of them had antlers. They were all their antlers had dropped. So, and then there were 11 juvenile males that were either a year, this past year's, so they were fawn, basically, males or yearling deer. We did have a couple incidents, nothing major. We encountered people every time I think we were out there. When we were in our tree stands, we would see people walking around Ridge Run, or they were walking around at Lac La Rand, but there really weren't any encounters that were negative, except for one at Ridge Run towards the end. We had a woman that was yelling, runaway deer, when we were in there. It didn't impact anything we were doing. We actually moved 2 deer from that stand that night. So, and it was in the daytime, just before dark, that we observed them. So, and then we did have a tree stand that was damaged, physically damaged. But other than that, it was a minor damage, but it wasn't no other negative occurrences with the public. So overall, I think it went really well. To remove the 60 deer would have taken a lot more time and effort. We determined early on when we were in Lac La Rand and Ridge Run that there probably weren't much more than 30 deer in both parks. So, I mean, we certainly could have removed 30 if we would have spent more time and effort, but and adding the county property really helped us to up the numbers to get closer to that 60 that we were hoping for.
So Ridge Run, Lac La Rand, the deer count really then did drop then compared to the original walkthrough earlier in the program, correct?
Well, I don't know what we noticed was there was a group of about 15 to 20 deer on the county property when we were in the park. I mean, they were down south about a mile or 2, and those deer would go back and forth between Lac La Rand and the county property. So that's when we established a location on the county property so we could get them regardless of where they were, and that helped. We ended up getting 10 deer off the county property, 23 in Lac La Rand and 23 in Ridge Run.
that's definitely gonna help you, Joanne, out there.
It is, absolutely.
You know, that's
huge.
what, and what really impressed me, and I'm happy to see that, is the female count.
Yeah.
You multiply that times 2, you know, that's an additional 50 plus 25. That's 75 deer that we do not have to worry about for this year.
100% accurate, yeah, they either have 1 or 2 fetuses.
Yep,
So
exactly.
it's
So,
very.
Did you guys check those adult females?
I'm sorry?
Did you check the adult females?
We did, and there were fetuses there, we didn't keep track of them, you know. But, I mean, there were several, all the adult females were pregnant. The juveniles were, typically they're not, because those juveniles are actually last year's fawns, so they're not quite a year old, and it's not common for them to breed. It happens, but it's not common for a fawn to breed in the first year. So most of so there, you know, that's 25 adult deer that were, you know, pregnant, so, yeah.
all right, any questions for Chip?
Well,
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very happy with this. I think this number is gonna be a little more impressive than the 3 we did last year. But when you have a new program, you have to start somewhere, and the bow hunting was the best solution at the time when we got together, and I think we made some great steps moving forward.
Chip, when I stepped up, did you speak to the process of taking the deer to Schwei?
No, I did not, so I'll mention
Go
that.
through that.
So Jay, our committee, had organized with Schwei Meats in Fredonia to, for us to donate, or take the deer there, and they would process them at no cost, and then donate that meat to local pantries, I believe. So we did take the deer to them, and after that, I don't have any handle on what's happened. I'm assuming, I know they processed the deer, and I'm assuming that they donated it. To where, I don't know, so that would be a question for them
Okay,
to
all right.
ask. But, yeah, the meat did go to Schwei Meats. We took everything there, nothing got wasted on our end. Everything was delivered to them, so, and we helped them actually on a couple occasions, actually bring them into their building, so. A couple additional things. And these are just estimates, but based on what we were seeing on cameras, because we had trail cameras out with our tree stands as well to get an idea of how many deer were coming in, approximately when they were coming in to the bait site, so we can kind of try to use maximum effort towards the times that they're coming. And we noticed there was probably about 6 or so deer in Ridge Run left. Now, there's a whole expanse of property to the south that and the west that those deer can just filter back in. So I assume that'll probably happen, but based on our camera activity, that there was only a couple of deer at each tree stand or bait site that we had. With Lac La Rande, we believe there's probably about 15, because we did see one herd of about 15 that was on the county property that was going back and forth on occasion too. So, and that's, I believe, what was left between the county property and Lac La Rande was about 15 deer. And again, you can get deer from outside that area filter in once that habitat's become vacant, and that will happen, so. But the numbers should be well reduced from where it was. A couple of recommendations that we have is, certainly, you certainly can use bow hunters, and I think it's good that you tried that, at least to see what the effectiveness might be with that. So I think that was good that you tried that. And it can be difficult. And one of the problems with having bow hunters, and I'm a bow hunter myself, but they get in there and they're trophy hunting. The goal has to be that you shoot a deer when you go in there, we had the Earn a Buck program, and nobody wants to see that come back, but that might be something that, if you want to shoot a buck in here, you should first have to shoot a doe.
I believe that's what we had in our original rules, that
okay.
you had to, or you could not just shoot for a trophy, you had to take whatever.
Okay.
was
We
it.
encourage.
Oh, good.
Yep.
And they couldn't keep the antlers anyway.
And, exactly.
Oh, okay, well, that's great, good, that's good then.
Yeah.